September 11th, 2001. On a bright, sunny Tuesday morning, America was the victim of a vicious attack by Muslim terrorists. Those of you who attend Walton Middle School were small children at the time. Many of you have no recollection of this terrible tragedy at all, so you might wonder why we, as a nation, pause to remember this horrific event. There's an old saying that goes, "Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it." That's why it's so important to remember our past. We must always remember the events that shaped our nation and changed the lives of all Americans. Only once before has America been attacked on its own soil. That happened on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, when Japan launched an air attack on our naval base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. The unprovoked attack took the lives of 2,402 Americans. Another 1,282 people were injured. The attack led to the United States entering World War II. After the war, a memorial was built at the site of the attack above one of the sunken battleships to remind Americans that we must always be on guard against attack by a foreign nation or group. President Franklin D. Roosevelt called December 7th, 1941, a date that shall live in infamy, and it was. In this same way, September 11th, 2001, was also a day that will forever live in infamy. On that bright Tuesday morning, 2,997 people were killed. Among these were 342 firefighters and paramedics, 23 New York police officers, and 37 Port Authority officers. Families were destroyed. 1,609 people lost a wife or husband, and 3,051 children lost a parent. At Ground Zero, fires continued to burn down beneath the rubble and debris for another 99 days. In the hours following the attack on the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, President George Bush spoke to the nation and said, "The pictures of airplanes flying into buildings, fires burning, huge structures collapsing, have filled us with disbelief, terrible sadness, and a quiet, unyielding anger. These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat, but they have failed. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shattered steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve." What you are about to see are images of that terrible day, so that you will always recognize and remember what hatred, insanity, and pure evil looks like. We do this in memory of those who died. Afterward, we'll show you pictures of local military veterans, police officers, firefighters, and paramedics, so that you will always recognize and remember what courage, character, and American pride looks like. We do this to honor those who live.
Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day? Were you in the yard with your wife and children, or working on some stage in LA? Did you stand there in shock at the sight of that black smoke rising against that blue sky? Did you shout out in anger and fear for your neighbor, or did you just sit down and cry?
When she picked up the telephone, his voice came on the line. She said, "This can't be happening," and tears fell from her eyes. She said, "What am I supposed to do? I can't handle losing you." He said, "I just had to call and say goodbye." last time. He said there are some things in this life that are out of our control, like who we fall in love with and when it's time to go. She said, what about the plans we had? He said, this connection's getting bad. Now come on, baby, let me hear you smile.
Let us honor those who risk their lives for us. Here are just some of the local heroes. We need to let them know that we appreciate what they do and what they sacrifice to keep us safe.
She stands in the face of evil and will not lose hope or faith. America, the land of freedom, is still the home of the brave. So raise the banner called Old Glory. Let us join our fellow man. History will write the story. America will always stand. Walking through the fires of danger, there are those who gave their lives. They're the world's greatest heroes, and we won't forget their sacrifice. So raise the banner called Old Glory. Let us join our fellow man. History will write the story. America will always stand. America is not divided. Our enemies, they will be stopped. 'Cause we the people are united and still one nation under God. So raise the banner called Old Glory. Let us join our fellow man. History will write the story. America will always stand. History will write the story. America will always stand.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. But I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
We're going to send a song out to the troops and all of y'all who have been so good to us, y'all. And thank you very much for making us a great career. This is called I'm Your Biggest Fan. And we all. You stand in line and you spend your hard-earned dollar for a little piece of my time. You cheer me on right up through the very last song. You say you came here to see me. Well, that's only half the truth. The other half is simply that I came here to see you, 'cause I'm your biggest fan. No one I know puts on a show quite the way you can.
Thank you to these people who have served and are serving in our military for our country.
And to me, the best seat in the house is right here where I stand, 'cause I'm your biggest fan. Well, to do what I love to do. And now it's time to go. But I'll try to keep in touch on the radio. Let every spotlight in the house tonight turn and shine on you, so you can see what it's like from my point of view. I'm your biggest fan. No one I know puts on a show quite the way you can. Well, I'm your biggest fan. So everybody stand up and give yourselves a hand. 'Cause I'm your biggest fan. Hey, we love you and we appreciate you. Thank you, y'all. God bless America. Have a great year.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one time. Neil McCoy.
Now let's have a moment of silence in memory of those who lost their lives for us. WMS would like to offer special thanks to all our military, firefighters, emergency personnel, and law enforcement who protect us and defend our freedoms. We would also like to thank the different agencies for their part in making this year's tribute possible.